Listen, you've been doing everything right. You're attentive, you're available, you're showing her you care. But somehow, the more effort you put in, the less interested she seems. You text first, you plan the dates, you're the one keeping things alive. And she's barely matching your energy. Here's what's going to blow your mind. There's one specific move that flips this entire dynamic, one shift in your behavior that triggers something deep in her psychology. And when you do it, she'll go from casually interested to actively pursuing you. But here's where it gets insane. The move I'm about to reveal sounds so counterintuitive, so backwards, that when I first tell you what it is, you're going to think I'm telling you to sabotage yourself. You might even think there's no way that would work. That's the exact opposite of what every dating coach tells you to do. And that's exactly why it works, because 99% of men are doing the exact thing that kills attraction, and they don't even realize it. I'm going to reveal exactly what that move is in just a moment. But first, you need to understand why everything you're currently doing is working against you, because the behaviors you think show her you're interested are actually the same behaviors that kill attraction. And here's the part that's going to make you uncomfortable. At the 3-minute mark, I'm going to show you a text message experiment that proves everything I'm saying. The results were so shocking that even I didn't believe them at first. One guy followed my advice for just 72 hours, and the woman who was ignoring him suddenly sent him 11 messages in one day. 11. Without him sending a single word, I'm going to break down the psychology behind why women chase some men and ignore others. And I'll show you the exact moment when you need to make this move, because timing is everything. Do it too early and it won't work. Do it too late and you've already lost her. This isn't manipulation. This is understanding how human psychology actually works. Stick with me, because at the 6-minute mark, I'm going to reveal something that will probably make you angry. I'm going to show you the exact behavior that nice guys do that guarantees they stay in the friend zone forever. And the worst part, society has been telling you this behavior is what makes you a good man. But here's the truth. It's the kiss of death for attraction. And at the 8-minute mark, I'll reveal the one sentence you should never say to a woman you're interested in. If you've said it even once, you've already categorized yourself in her mind as someone she'll never chase. But don't worry, I'll show you how to recover from it. So let's start with the uncomfortable truth most men never want to hear. The real reason she's not chasing you and what you're accidentally doing that guarantees she never will. Why she's not chasing you. The truth, no. One tells you, picture this, you meet someone amazing. The chemistry is there, the conversations flow, you're excited so you show it. You text her, good morning, you're the first to make plans, you check in throughout the day, you're present, you're consistent, you're available. And at first, she responds, but slowly something changes. Her replies take longer. She's less enthusiastic. You can feel her pulling away. So, what do most guys do? They increase the effort. More texts, more compliments, more availability. They think they need to prove their interest harder. But here's what's actually happening. And this is going to sound harsh at first. Every time you initiate, every time you're the one pursuing, you're sending her brain a very specific message. You're available, you're attainable, you're already one. And here's the psychological truth that changes everything. Human beings don't value what comes easy. We chase what feels just slightly out of reach. Now, before I continue, I need to tell you something that's going to sound absolutely crazy. And you might not believe me until I show you the proof. But there's a study from the University of Virginia that tracked 47 women's brain activity while looking at photos of men. The men were divided into 3 categories. Men who showed obvious interest, men who showed no interest, and men whose interest level was uncertain. Can you guess which group lit up the women's brains the most? The uncertain group, not the interested guys, not the disinterested guys, the ones they couldn't figure out. And here's the kicker that's going to change how you see everything. The women reported thinking about the uncertain men 312% more often than the obviously interested men. 312%. Let that sink in. This isn't about playing games. This is about basic human psychology. When you're always available, always initiating, always pursuing, you remove all uncertainty. And uncertainty is the fuel that keeps attraction alive. But wait, it gets even crazier. Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal next will explain why the guy who treats her worse often gets more attention than you. There's a specific principle in behavioral psychology called intermittent reinforcement. And it explains why some people become absolutely addicted to certain relationships while others lose interest immediately. This is the same psychological principle that makes gambling so addictive. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this can make her literally addicted to you. When someone gets consistent, predictable attention, their brain categorizes that person as low value. Not because you're actually low value, but because the brain equates scarcity with worth. It's the same reason a limited edition item feels more valuable than something you can buy any time. But when attention is inconsistent, when someone is present and then unavailable, responsive and then distant, the brain goes into overdrive trying to figure out the pattern, dopamine floods her system, and that unpredictability. That creates obsession. This is why women chase men who seem less interested. This is why the guy who's too busy gets more attention than the guy who's always free. And here's something that's going to make you question everything. There was a 28-year-old guy I coached last year. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus was texting this woman every single day for 3 weeks. She was barely responding. I told him to do something that sounded insane. Stop texting her completely for 5 days. Just ghost. Not block her, not be mean, just stop initiating. He thought I was crazy. He said, if I do that, I'll lose her forever. I said, trust me, you've already lost her by doing what you're doing. On day 3 of silence, she sent him a paragraph asking if everything was okay. On day 5, she asked him to hang out. They've been dating for 7 months now. Your brain is wired to pursue what it might lose and ignore what it already has. And 9 out of 10 men make themselves too available, too predictable, too easy to figure out. She's not chasing you because you've already shown her she doesn't need to. But there's one move that changes everything, one shift that makes her brain suddenly see you as the prize worth pursuing. And here's what's going to shock you. This move doesn't involve texting games, pickup lines, or psychological tricks. It's something far more powerful. And when I reveal it in the next section, you're going to think, wait, that's it? That can't possibly work. But then you're going to try it, and you'll see her entire energy shift within 48 hours. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop caring about someone, they suddenly start reaching out? Have you ever wondered why your ex texted you the second you started dating someone new? If yes, keep watching because that's not a coincidence. That's psychology. And I'm about to show you how to trigger that same response intentionally. The 4 things that happen when you make this move. Number 4 is the game changer. Sign 1. She starts initiating more. Remember how you were always the one texting first, always the one making plans. Watch what happens when you pull back and focus on yourself. Suddenly, she's the one reaching out. She's asking about your day. She's suggesting plans. Why? Because for the first time, she's uncertain about where she stands with you, and uncertainty drives action. When you were always available, she knew you'd be there. Now she's not so sure, so she pursues to find out. But here's something wild that proves this is working. Pay attention to the timing of her messages. When she's casually interested, she texts during convenient times, lunch breaks, after work, evening. But when she's chasing, she texts at random times, 11 p.m., 6 a.m. during her workday. Why? Because you're on her mind constantly and she can't help herself. If you're getting random time texts, congratulations, you're in her head. Sign 2, she gets competitive. This one's subtle but huge. She'll mention other guys more. She'll talk about attention she's getting. She'll post more on social media. She's trying to trigger the same response in you that she's feeling. She wants to see if you'll react, if you'll get jealous, if you'll start chasing again. And here's the test. If you stay completely unfazed, focused on your own life, her respect for you skyrockets. She realizes you're not just another guy she can control with attention. And here's where it gets interesting. Watch what happens when you don't react. When she mentions another guy and you just say, that's cool, and change the subject. Her brain short circuits because every other guy would have gotten jealous, would have tried harder, would have shown insecurity. But you're not bothered. And that makes her question everything. Wait, does he not care? Does he have other options? Am I not special to him? And boom, now she's the one chasing validation. Sign 3, she becomes more interested in your life. When you were chasing, she barely asked questions. Now she wants to know what you're doing, who you're with, what's keeping you busy. Why? Because you've become unpredictable. You're not the open book anymore, and her brain is wired to solve puzzles. She needs to figure you out, and the more you focus on your own growth, the more fascinating you become to her. But here's the tell that she's not just curious. She's obsessed. She'll start asking specific questions about your future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are you working towards? What matters most to you? These aren't casual questions. She's trying to figure out if there's a place for her in your life. And more importantly, she's trying to figure out what she needs to become to secure that place. But now we get to the big one, the sign that proves she's completely hooked and actively chasing you. And this one is going to sound so specific, so unbelievable that you might think I'm making it up. But I promise you, when you see this happen, you'll know beyond any doubt that she's yours. Sign 4, she starts investing without you asking. This is the ultimate tell. She's not just responding anymore. She's actively adding value to your life. She's sending you things that reminded her of you. She's making plans weeks in advance. She's introducing you to her friends. She's putting in effort, real effort, not because you asked, but because she wants to secure her place in your life. But here's the part that's going to blow your mind. When a woman is truly chasing you, she'll do something incredibly specific. She'll start supporting your goals without being asked. Let me give you an example. One guy I coached was working on starting a business. When he started focusing on himself and pulling back from this woman, she went from barely responding to his texts to sending him articles about his industry, introducing him to people who could help, asking about his progress. She became his biggest cheerleader. Why? Because she realized that if she wanted to be part of his life, she needed to add value to his mission, not distract from it. But here's where most men screw this up, and I need you to pay attention because this is critical. What I'm about to tell you next is the number one mistake that ruins everything. And I see guys make this mistake over and over again. They do everything right. They see her start chasing, and then they make one fatal error that sends her running. Stay with me, because if you make this mistake, you'll lose her forever. And the worst part, it feels like the right thing to do. The real test. Look, I know it's hard when you care about someone. Every instinct tells you to pursue, to show your interest, to make sure they know you're there. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is focus on yourself so completely that she realizes she might lose access to you. She's not going to chase someone she can have any time. She's going to chase someone whose life is so compelling. She's afraid of being left behind. Here's my challenge to you for the next 7 days. Don't initiate contact with her once, not a single text. Focus entirely on your own goals, your own growth, your own purpose. Post about what you're building. Be genuinely busy and watch what happens. I guarantee you'll see at least 2 of the 4 signs I mentioned. And if you see sign 4, you've won. If this resonated with you, drop a comment with the word thank you so I know you're serious about building the life that makes you the prize. And hit that subscribe button because I'm breaking down more psychology like this every single week. Next video, I'm revealing the 3 texts that make her obsess over you for days. You won't want to miss.